single day I'm gonna make something great. That's my way. Every single day I'm gonna make something great. That's my way.
Hey, my hearts, it's Kulipup here again, and as promised, I said I was going to get back to you when I was having, or open up to you when I was having a bad day, or one of my bad days. Now, like I say again, this isn't, my bad days don't, well, they have involved previously when I was really sorting out some deep internal work, because remember, within my name, the PUP, precision, unified with focus and more precision. When it comes to my inner work, I have to be so precise. I can't go by like, oh, this is this category, like it's part of your childhood. It's like, no, I have to find like, oh, if there's a problem, an energy stream, I have to find the specific chord that was created when I was 4 years old on October 31st at 2 p.m., that kind of thing. This is the time that this actually happens. So anyway, so my inner work is very, very, very precise, so I can get everything down. Now, today is one of those days. I don't really have a lot of huge mental breakdowns anymore, because that's the beauty of healing, right? But what I do have is days where my mind can become a bit of a nuisance, or the entities can become a bit of a nuisance. And, I'm totally aware of them. And this is one of the things, right? It's being aware of them and catching the feeling and catching the thought process and kind of getting it out. So right now, how do I feel right in this very moment? Well, I'm annoyed. I'm very annoyed. And the reason I'm annoyed is because of, to be honest with you, it is because I'm physically going through a transition. That's why I'm annoyed, down to the very root of it. However, the trigger of my annoyance is actually from my beloved. He's setting up a garden right now. And he's overturning earth, and he decided to overturn a bunch of earth right next to our fire pit. And I'm just like, but he gets really excited, right? Whenever he's like, he got a new gardening tool today. And so it's all right. What are you looking for, kiddo?
Oh, no, I was just gonna...
Nah, give me a few minutes. Okay. Anyway, so he got a new gardening tool anyway. And so when he gets excited, he's just like, wow, let's make everything a garden. I'm like, no, you got to have a little foresight here, man. Like, you can't start the garden next to the fire pits and the washing line and so on. Anyway, so what's truly made this more of a bad day is I woke up feeling not quite right. I woke up in a place where I knew I was at unrest, right? How do you know you're at unrest? Well, there is a cloud of confusion. It's not clear, right? When I'm thinking on this side, right, which is my right side, it's technically my left side. When you think of the actual truth of what it is this is my left, right? Not my right, but we've all been manipulated to believe that this is left. This is right and this is left. But anyway, so for this sake and for your understanding, I'm going to say that this is my right. So within my right side of my brain, that is where Kulipa, that is where the entities of fear, Ulysses, the homunculi, the whatever other names of the demons or the entities that entities of possession like to reside. This is where they reside. Your left side or your right side. I don't want to cause confusion. And by the way, for you cognizant individuals, how many of you have now started to say like, oh, let's go left. Left seems really natural and it's on your right side. And then this is right over here. And you're just like, why I can't get, it's because you're seeing the truth. You're starting to learn the truth, and you are automatically speaking the truth, which is this is your left and this is your right. But anyway, that's for those of you to kind of think about. So they all reside over here. Now, when you are speaking through your heart or thinking with your heart, when your heart and your mind are connected, you actually feel it over here on your right side. Now, anyway, so you feel it on your right side. And when you're in a state of confusion, or when I'm in a state of confusion, or when the entities want to start to really like get with me, I feel it very heavily over here, but it also is a cloud because it's like a power balance going back and forth, right? So that's what I felt this morning when I woke up. There's a power, like there's a shift in like the energy wants to be over here, which then I know that any thoughts coming in at that point, if I feel this energy here, then I know that it is an entity infiltration or something to do with an entity that is coming in. If I feel it over here, then I know that's my heart. All right. But I also have to feel it right here at the same time too. But the thing is, when it has this mental confusion over here, it's very hard to feel your heart at the same time. And that's what my entities really try to do. All right. When you live in a state of security within your thought, right? The first thing that they're going to want to do is to get you confused. And it doesn't matter what they get you confused on. It's anything. So if they can get you confused on your name, who you are, what do you want for breakfast? You know, you're thinking you're going to have Cheerios when the next thing you're like, no, I want some toast. But if they can get you confused, that's where it starts. Now, I woke up this way, and I woke up this way because I had a series of dreams, which I actually can't remember too much about, but I know it wasn't quite right. My dream, in a sense, was I was in a full, beautiful forest, but all of a sudden I was with 3 other individuals, and we were walking and we became demons ourselves, you know, looking down, but we were still ourselves. Of course, we were still ourselves, but we looked down, and then all of a sudden, you know, we have more claws and so forth. And we're like, what the hell's happening to the beach? Because the beach, as beautiful as it was, sandy beach, the water turned black. And I'm like, what the shit, you know? And then 3 little gremlins came out of the clearing of the pass, or out of the woods or whatever. And when I say gremlins, they were just short, fat little balls of just nastiness, like, you know, with little seedy eyes. And I know, because entities normally, they do try to get me in my sleep, you know, to produce an emotion of fear. But I looked straight at them. I'm like, what are you? And I felt very predatory at that time. And I started hunting them, or I just went over to them and I just kind of took my claw and, you know, squished it. And I'm like, what the hell is that? Anyway, I woke up at that point. And normally when I wake up and I remember my dreams, I analyze my dreams quite often. But in this specific moment, I just felt, see, I just got Kulipup. You shouldn't go into such detail right now. Where did it come from? Over here. So it means that I'm on the right track on something. But anyway, so I didn't actually analyze my dream very much because I woke up in this state of weird confusion right here. So my priority at that point was to get out of this state of confusion as soon as I became aware of it. So the first thing I did was I sat up, and so this is how I combat these kinds of things when the entity is trying to infiltrate, because if I allow myself to stay in this state of confusion, it will start accumulating and adding on, right? And first thing I did was I felt confused about something and I didn't know what, right? But if I didn't address it and I went on throughout my day, they would have stepped into, like I said, you know, what am I going to have for breakfast? Then all of a sudden, just random thoughts will start coming in, and I'll start listening to them because it has it right there, until it's going to try to slowly bring the energy constantly over in this area, right? So that any thoughts it gives you is going to cause you, again, fear, confusion, or suffering, or pain in some way. And it's going to then produce the emotions that it's going to try to feed on you with. So getting out of the state of confusion, well, I sat up. First thing I did was I sat up, and I asked myself, why? What am I confused about? What is it right now that is stopping me from doing it? And then what happened was I get a little bit of my throat chakra point, right, starts to get very constricted, right? When my throat chakra point starts to get constricted, it means that I am not expressing myself, or I am not being truthful with myself or others in some reason, but primarily myself. I normally, you know, if I get that, it's because I'm not admitting something to myself, or I'm just not being truthful. So I asked myself at that point, I'm like, well, what am I not being honest with myself for? Right? And when I looked into it, when I really felt it, I went through as much as I could, right? Because you're just trying to find, like, where the frick is this feeling coming from? Why is this entity able to cause me confusion? Why do I feel heavier right now? And of course, I'm like, okay, well, I know the new moon is coming in just a day or so. That definitely is about to amplify my energy, and I need to get that out. So then I was like, okay, so I know it's the moon. I know the moon is definitely amplifying this. And yes, the planets are in retrograde and all that jazz too. But for me, I feel it primarily with the moon specifically. Yeah, that's just me. You may feel it more so with the planetary alignments, but anyway, this is me. So I was looking and I was searching and I was going through, well, is it something I am saying? And I'm like, but I haven't really said anything this morning. Is it something that I've done? Well, I've simply just woken up and I've had a dream, but that's not necessarily, I haven't analyzed that dream yet, but that shouldn't be the cause to cause this restriction within my chakra point. So I went inside myself. I went into the ethereal. So sitting up straight, and I did a mudra where I was just basically made the heart, right? And I sat with it just near my solar plexus, right? Because I want my heart energy at that point. I want my energy to be within my heart. So, and I wanted to go upwards too. So I sat there cross-legged, and I went into the ethereal. So first of all, I wanted to know, well, let me do some cleaning, right? Let me do a little bit of cleaning. And I went into my mind. So through visualization, and letting the images flow to me, I went into my mind and I'm like, okay, I called out for some assistance from Lucaust, or Sloan, Lupe, and Amistral, all masters, of course. And the thing is, though, when I called out Lucaust, he said, yes, Kulipup. And I'm like, hey, wait a second. Why are you calling out to Kulipup? Right? And it's because when I'm in a state of confusion, Kulipup is whispering my ear. So Master Lucaust, what he would do is he would address the one whispering in my ear, which gives me the signification that, hey, who's trying to infiltrate you? You know, kind of, it's less like, you're not addressing Kulipup, you're addressing Kulipa, who is there. And it is my self, Kulipup. If I am not over here, it is because my vessel is taking on the suggestions of Kulipa. So that's what the masters do, to help give me hints without giving me hints, if that makes sense, without being direct. Because we have a rule, right? I have a rule that you can't tell me straight up anything. I have to figure things out on my own, right? That's literally what it is. So can't tell me shit unless I figure it out. So yes. Oh, this is getting a little bit long, so I'm going to do a part 2 on this one, and then we're going to go through what I did in the ethereal.